Today is April 5th, 2026. Happy Easter. Last few days. Oh my god. On Friday, April 3rd, 2026. Of course, idiots happen. And idiots happen. You know, these people is why God made hell and man made jails for these people. Back in March of 2023, around the 1st of March, the Walmart 62 may still have it, by the nail polish. A lady is talking, and she said she didn't want anything to do with this. She found out they were using the case to human traffic people. People within a few days were showing up at Walmart, saying they need to shut it down. They're using this case to human traffic people, tricking people to show up to harass me, and picking out who they wanted. Then I want to know what kind of pieces of shit show up to harass somebody. Leave their home, their daily life, and you're such a piece of shit to show up to harass somebody. That you're that evil inside. You need mental help. You're a danger to society and everybody around you. You need help, or you wouldn't involve yourself. In 24, I was in North Canton. Okay. I was at Middle Branch. There's a Citizens Bank and a gas station. There's vehicles around. They pulled in and people were talking. We told the guy that was passing out the money that we don't want any part of it. We found out the money they got was from the women and children they sold when they were with human trafficking. It's blood money. They got it from the women and children they were selling. And they're passing it out to people to help harass her. It's blood money. Tell everybody we don't want it. Tell them we don't want their dirty money. It's blood money of sold women and children for sex slaves and to be murdered. Some serial killer gave you money to help victimize another victim, and you took blood money off of a dead child's body. The people that participate in this is why God made hell. Made hell. And man-made jails for the reprobate bastards that would dare put their name on this. Officers lectured me in 19. You know better than to feel sorry for no man that puts their name on this. People have died. Another time, people have died and people have been sold. I was told one part and then another part. You remember, people died over this and people were sold. I never forget that. You know, my friend Matt, January 13th, 23, went to Ohio drug dealer. They, 2.5 hours away, knew about what was happening here. That it was a drug scam from the drug dealers that were human trafficking people. On April 3rd, 2026, I had went down to Dutch Valley Restaurant. Okay. Carl and I, we just had our first year anniversary. And the day after our wedding, we went down there. So we went down there again to celebrate. And stupid people. Absolutely ignorant, stupid people. Well, what I did is I let my video play of a round of applause for the best actors that went in to that agent's office. A round of applause for the best actors. Okay? and how stupid when you think of HIPAA laws. They'll even write on Google, if an attorney and a doctor tries to ruin somebody, they're in it together against a person. It is a federal crime by 10 to 20 to decades in federal prison. It's HIPAA. They can never be in it with an attorney. They can't be in there to destroy you. They can't talk about you without your consent. They can't pass out your medical records. They can't make your medical history public known. As if anybody would fall for that it wouldn't be a real doctor. And it came out in March that it was supposed to have been that Henry Moffey, Dave's girlfriend's dad, just telling people he was a doctor. Of course it was a scam. No real doctor would put their name on this. It's a federal crime. No attorney would ever be able to be with a doctor bad-mouthing. The law is there to both lose their license. Law enforcement are to arrest them, call the FBI, and they are to be prosecuted for HIPAA. They're not allowed to be together. It's a federal crime of HIPAA. Just like attorneys don't get special permission to set up button cameras, the Photoshop, the washing in the other room, or break in and have their drug friends stab you with hypnotic drugs, lie you have sodium pentothal drug, beat and rape some poor woman. Where did anybody find any of that funny and drug them up and tell them to say stuff? And hypnotic drugs, within 45 seconds you're sleepwalking. It causes sleepwalking. You can eat, drink, cook, drive a car, have sex, and you'll never remember what you did or said. It's a perfect date rape drug. And you'll never remember because you're sleepwalking. It's illegal to drug somebody. Where did people find drug dealers doing this funny? You know, on April 1st, 2026, on Dollar Tree, 2 of the Kingsmen were following me. And they were in there and they were talking about the king buying me. And they had tried to sell me, and some guy gets on there and tells them how ugly and fat I am and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Don't bother showing up. It's probably that officer that looks like the serial killer that makes me twinge when I see him. Thank you. Those men that were in that Dollar Tree across from McDonald's by Central Catholic, they've been around me a lot. We went out to Outback with Danny and Jen and Gabe. And I heard someone talking that 2 Kingsmen were following her again. I know. Well, on the 3rd, people being snotty. Oh, some guy didn't want to meet her because she's so fat. You know that's a code word for bi, right? I'm good with that. Why wouldn't, I'm married. He didn't want to take her out. Why would I go out with him? I'm married. Oh, it's a code word for bi. Like special outfits sold. They tell you you're gorgeous, they want to kill you. So some guy didn't want to buy me to kill me. I'm good. Leave me and my fat body alone. So he didn't want to kill me or use me for a sex life. I'm good. Thank you. People are morons. And it's serial killers doing this. This is where they're fucking retards. Fucking retards. See, I let my video play while we were in Dutch Valley Restaurant. We went to go out and there was people getting out of their trucks. It would take somebody being retarded to fall for this. How illegal this is. We were all listening. Oh, I know. Just like if an attorney sets up button cameras in your home, they're disbarred, criminally charged with voyeurism, listed a sex offender, lost a license immediately, right in the privacy of your home. Cyber stalking, wiretapping, they can never be in your home. Nor could they go to one of your doctors, nor could a doctor be with them. Nor could they run around bad-mouthing you. Okay? Well, I let it play and play and play, and it was the one with round of applause for the best actor and actresses that went into that office. From that family where March 27th, 25 admitted to a federal agent that they made the whole thing up, of them being offended and all that they lied to a federal agent. My God. They told another FBI agent they lied. And then, if you go March 20th, 26, Walmart West Husk. An investigator said where that federal agent told me. Over a year ago, that family admitted they made everything up to help get away with this. I haven't found one bit of this funny. No, it's not. I don't believe one bit she ever threatened Katie, because listen to Karen, she always dated him. And da-da-da. You know what? That's already been debunked. People have been showing up. Katie already told all kinds of people that I never threatened her. Why would I? And when people found out I hadn't been a member of her church in 23 years. Oh. And when the case started, it was 15 years. Hadn't been a member of her church. I want you to think about that. And she told people she lied because we wouldn't give her the time of day. Wouldn't come up and talk to her. Don't she think she's the God of glory? Queen Bee. That people should go out of their way just to say hello to her. And she thinks she's something. I avoided that girl like a plague because she'd been cheating with my brother-in-law since 2001. My sister Linda will not confront her husband. And so we stay out of it. So she's not willing to go off and live on her own and make it on her own, and she's going to live in an open marriage. That's her own fault and her own choice. So to avoid polite conversation of acting like you didn't know anything, we just avoided her. And then I hadn't been a member of that church for 15 years. Told you only visited twice in 2011 when people were making up stuff and it was getting down to Blackhawks. See if somebody come up and say something. They didn't. And I didn't go back. That place gave me nightmares. They pushed my kid to suicide when Strange thought I was following Tim and Kitty and it was Linda following them. He pushed my kid to suicide. And then, until my mom left the state forever, they kept having people nail her tires and she was way up in her 60s. Get the idea? I hate that place. I stayed away from those people. I had no phone numbers, no addresses, and no contact. I actually had a life outside of there. And those people meant nothing to me but hurt and pain. They had to hunt me down. And some queen bee that thinks she's got a glory, that everybody ought to go out of their way to say hello to her, even if you don't go to that church. I don't think so. She is not some kind of super queen. And people didn't think it's funny when they said she hadn't been a member of that church for 23 years. No wonder she don't talk to her. Was 15 when it started. Told you, when she made up a bunch of crazy lies in 2011 on her and Dave. And I never caught Dave with anybody. And Dave verified it December 9th, 18. I never caught him with anyone. There was no one to threaten. He got mad enough, he quit his church. He didn't even go to that church. We had nothing to do with those people. Nothing. Where we avoided her already, we walked on the other side of the kiosk. When we went down to other stores down the mall from where she worked, we avoided her like the plague. wanted nothing to do with her. And she had people she thought they were getting even with her because she thought she was too good to stop and talk to her. Why would I talk to her? She made my sister cry. Why would I? If, like in 2011 or before, she walked by, hi. Why go into polite conversation with someone that makes your sister cry and you can't say a word because your sister won't stand up for herself and doesn't want her husband to know she knows? So you avoid the problem. Just avoid it. She wasn't a family friend. She was nobody to us, but somebody who sat in that church. It caused my sister heartache, so we avoided her. Told you, she made up a bunch of stories on Dave. Dave quit his church. He didn't even go there for 6-7 years. Now, think of this. She was telling everybody, she never threatened me, but she wouldn't give me the time of day and stop and say hi. She is not God of glory, and she's not the Queen of Sheba. That everybody has to kiss her ass, even people that don't go to that church for 20 years. Somebody wants to just walk by a store she works in, don't even go in the store. You don't have to go all the way to kiss that girl's ass. And like they said, nobody blames her for avoiding her. She was asking people to get even with me because she thinks she's so much better than me. That's what they were saying. When they found out she hadn't even been part of that church for 23 years and it was 15 when it started, and they were just avoiding a situation because she was cheating with her brother-in-law, and that way they didn't have to fake be nice. Nobody blames her. Then why would you help harass somebody just because somebody thinks they're God of glory and the Queen of Sheba and that everybody should go out of their way to kiss her ass? I want to know what's wrong with you mentally. So and then I started going through all the laws. How they go to jail for everything on that tape that I played. How outrageous all this is. From attorneys setting up button cameras in your home. Dave said it's just some guy named Pete he hired on his own. That's what he told Dan. Overheard him talking about. Just some guy. They didn't have a court order. It wasn't policing agencies under a threat of life with statements in a court order. Do you know, even Officer Reinhardt told me, even the FBI go to jail for being in your home. Nobody could be in your home. Dave can't hire. Even an attorney told me, Dave can't hire anybody on his own. It's illegal. It's a Fourth Amendment. Even the FBI would be in jail for being in your home outside that protected custody case with statements. Talk to the Portage County Sheriff's, the same thing. Talk to someone from the prosecutor's office, the same thing. So where do they get their special permission, Tinkerbell? They made it up. They lied. When you realize they lied on everything, that's all they do is lie. Just like they had special permission from the FBI to follow her and harass her and make fun of her for having her harmed, I Googled what would be the jail sentence for that FBI agent. 5 years federal minimum up to life. Anything they say, but what is the jail sentence then what they're saying? It's usually federal crimes. Just like an attorney cannot have a doctor with them saying anything about you, your doctor cannot talk about you without your consent. Your medical records are covered by an act called HIPAA. HIPAA is over their medical records, and they cannot, and your medical treatment is your own. Your doctor is sworn to only work for you and only you. They cannot discuss what you said to them. They cannot discuss what they treated you for. They can't share your medical records. They can't be in it with a shyster attorney running around trying to ruin you either. Because this is where it's a big duh. If an attorney and a doctor show up trying to badmouth someone to law enforcement, what are they to do? Duh. Arrest them. It's a HIPAA violation. It is a federal crime of someone's medical records. And let's see what happens to the attorney and the doctor. Loss of license first day. What are the police to do? Arrest them and call the FBI. Do they prosecute people for breaking HIPAA? Hell yeah. They lock those suckers up so fast it ain't funny. 10 to 20 to decades in federal. They can't run around bad-mouthing you. They can't say anything. It's so Twilight Zone. It's ridiculous. They can never talk about you. They can't share your medical records. Your medical information is not public. Any doctor even gossips about you bad with another doctor, you can sue them. And they go to jail 10 years. It's a federal crime. Your medical records are your own. And HIPAA is so great. You can't even break in someone's home, steal their medical records, and try to use them against you. An individual can go to jail 10 years. It's HIPAA. HIPAA. Get the idea? Their Twilight Zone of fake sodium. We were drugging her to get the truth out of her. You know, these people laughed at me last September in Walmart 62 as I walked by my rooms in my home. I didn't even know they were there. Would reach out and stab me with those injections. She don't even remember being stabbed. Then I thought, well, I thought I got stung by a bee or a wasp or something got in the house. No. Predators preying on people in their homes. Don't even know they're there. Walk by a room and ow! And then all of a sudden the room goes dizzy and black. Never seen or talked to anybody. Think how not funny it is, and waking up with bruises, throwing up, and infected their fake sodium pentothal reports. Photoshopped a washing. And having that person beat and raped and drugged and told to say horrible stuff, and you never seen or talked to your rapist. Don't even know who they are. Predators preying on somebody running a drug scam. They could have killed me at any minute. They could have made it look like a home invasion and found a dead body. Or they could have looked like I was kidnapped out of the home and then found me somewhere else. They didn't. They wanted that drug scam, where they have said several times through the case, they wanted, the guy doing this wants to prove that the U.S. government and its people are so dumb they'll fall for anything. They wanted that scam on the FBI. I told you Strange hated the government. Hated them. Government's evil. They'll take your children. The government's evil. They'll brainwash your kids. They'll take your kids from you. They'll come in and take your guns. You have to hide them in pipes in the backyard. The government's evil. And he put that evilness and the hatred into those people. Enough where, that same girl that thinks she's God of glory and the Queen of Sheba, that everybody should kiss his ass, is dating his son on the side mistress. It's her family member that's in debt to drug dealers. And has them run a drug scam on me. So what? They can walk into an FBI office and what? Offer a federal agent a bribe, I heard. My God. And then tape him. Act like he's going along with this, bullying me. And then try to blackmail him out of the case's money. And if he don't give it to him, start sending it out to police departments. And anybody got arrested off of it. He was defrauding that poor woman. He opened a real case with statements, money and immunity. She never got a dime. He left her there. See how bad he was talking to her? We got it on tape. and get him arrested. They are a handful, aren't they? Now, we're going to put it this way. Right on Google, if an FBI agent tells on a victim calling for help, it can be 10 to 20 years. If an FBI agent calls a victim an informant or a witness while they're trying to give a statement, a liar, it's 20. Federal prison. It's called badgering. It's tampering with a witness and obstruction. If they bully you into false statements under a threat, it's 20. It's the same crimes. If they tell a victim, an informant, or a witness, if they say something, if they tell anything or say anything about what's going on, what? They won't help them? It is 20 years. It's blackmail and obstruction and tampering with a witness. And if an FBI agent tells an informant they can't say anything or they won't get their money, do you know it's considered a crime against the U.S. government? A crime against the U.S. government. Those are government funds meant for the informant. And it is blackmail and extortion out of government funds, tampering with a witness, tampering with evidence, and obstruction to justice. I want you to think about this one. You know, it's not funny at all when teenagers have called our local FBI the worst white-collar criminals there is. That ought to kick you right in the stomach. And then you got to think where April 6, 25, where I heard Dixie say that Melissa said the group of people they hired to watch her and to do all those things. You know, the one that, the two guys that said they would work for the drug lord. Said Melissa was willing to help him try to get away with this. She was willing to have the kids lie. No way, yeah. I talked to her. I told her to have the kids say, oh, you're kidding. Well, that got the feds' attention. Our boner. Then on Thanksgiving of 18, what did those kids get taped saying? They made everything up. They were games of pretend. And they wanted the house for Katie's family member, Auntie Shell. Oh, where Auntie Shell, September 30th, 25, 1:30 in the morning, a biker confronts her. That this whole thing was her family's dad to drug dealers. And that they even human trafficked people to pay him back. They sold women and children. My God. So, Melissa wants to put her name on serial killing women and children. She may want to rethink it, where Officer Mark said Melissa could go to jail for involving herself in this. I hate to arrest her, kids are little. Why don't we just write it up? Her and those kids were showing off for Dave and his new girlfriend. They're documenting me games of pretend. I heard some nitwit today. Well, Melissa's attorney's holding everything up. No, she's not. She don't have an attorney. Because where those kids get tape saying they made everything up. Like they said, why are they having those kids make all that shit up? Oh, they're just trying to scare her into giving up the house. They're documenting me jokes. They were trying to terrorize me out of my house. Nobody went to the hospital. There's no police report. There's no pictures of injuries. They were sitting around laughing, making it up. The police were already there. And the FBI. Like Officer John, January 12, 22, 4:55 p.m. My phone's bugged. What did those kids get? Tape stating they made everything up. October 5th, 21, my phone's bugged again. Was in Huntington Bank. We wouldn't want Melissa to get no money out of it. That's okay. They knew they made everything up. They didn't want anybody to help her. All through 21, people talking about that stupid girl lying, her and her kids. Flora told on him October 23rd, 2019. Of course, it never happened. Of course, it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games to pretend. How about on North Chapel, where we used to live? The apartment building for me, second close to the fence. And 21. Those kids outside were talking about Melissa's kids, telling them that they lied then. And 8, 9, 21, they were talking about me being drugged and told to say it before. They told them they made everything up. 2 apartment buildings before where I used to live on North Chapel Street, outside steps. They used to stand out there in 19 and talk about Melissa's lies. People used to scream about her lies in Louisville and in 21 in Canton. In 21 in May, I went to Pennsylvania. They were talking about that girl lying there because they sold this on the internet. They also in June and July 21, I went to Kentucky and Illinois. They were talking about that girl lying. On July 25th, 26th, July 26, 25. Had that backwards. July 26, 25. They were going again through Melissa's lies. People in Magnolia were calling for her arrest. In 23, they were calling for her arrest in Alliance. Exploiting her children for profit. It's a 20-year sentence. See, it's one thing if you're a bitch. There's another thing when you're an extortionist. And then accessory to those crimes. See, you put your name, like anybody said, anybody stupid enough to put their name on those tapes before will end up in jail for them. You're stupid to put your name on them. You want to be stupid. See, you can't get money for it. Of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made that up. They were games to pretend. They told us they were lying too. Like my one client I was out with on October 5th, 21. Who's that crazy Melissa? They all talk about lying everywhere we go. The ex-daughter-in-law friends with the ex's girlfriend had the kids make up mean games to pretend on Thanksgiving of 18. He said it's been years. They're still talking about that girl lying. Some idiot said, there's police departments that know they were lying. Oh my God, yes. From the Stark County Sheriffs. We're calling some guy named Kurt Sloan for just finding out those kids were lying in May of 21. Or in June or July of 21, the Massillon police told Mount Carmel, Illinois, they were documenting me games to pretend she never hurt anyone. Let's see, after Thanksgiving of 18, the feds and the cops talking, Melissa's so stupid, she made everything up when you were fishing with David. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. They called her stupid. Trying this in the middle of their case. Put her in jail. I don't care. See, there's a point in time you can feel sorry for people, but you involve yourself in selling women and children for sex slaves and to be murdered, and you're going to be an accessory to that, and you think you can extort money out of the federal government and run a fraud scheme on the FBI while you're helping serial killers kill people? I don't feel sorry for you, what they do to you. I don't care what they do to them. See, people have died. I have been raped. I have been tortured. I have been human trafficked. I have been beaten till they almost ruptured my intestines. They induced vomiting until my stomach shifted under my ribs. I have a dent in the back of my head that should have killed me. I stutter now when I get upset from that head injury. Now, do you think she wants to put her name on it? She thinks she can be a little mafia lord. She can go to jail. Make society safe from vile, evil criminals. She don't have an attorney. Because nobody got hurt. Can't just say something. See, these people are retards. They're retarded people. Just run around making up stuff, and everything they say is a lie. Where they said in 18, everything's a lie, everything's a scam, it is. Everything they say is a lie. It's just a big lie. A lie on top of another lie on top of another lie. Just like that retarded man showing up the other day said, okay, I have told you about Carl's son, how they admitted they incited him to go after Carl to steal his farm. Well, when he threatened to kill Carl and me, Carl and him got in a big fight. He came home, and from his farm, he said, I never want to lay my eyes on him again. He is no longer my son. He threatened to kill me and take my farm. He threatened to kill you, and no one will threaten to kill you. I never want to lay my eyes on him again. He is no longer my son. My son would not threaten to kill me, and he threatened to kill me. He said, and I never want to look at him again. He went in the closet. I said, what are you doing? He went in and got a bin of pictures and ripped up every picture he had of him, including his baby pictures. Said, I never want to lay my eyes on him again. How dare he threaten to kill me to take my farm. Okay? Well, that was what, September? He wrote him out of the will. He was not to get anything ever. You know, where Carl had added me to the mineral rights, even before we got married. Okay? He said, Karen, he said, Brenda's kids have just robbed me blind. He said, and my kids have just taken and stole from me. He said, I never want to worry about you ever going hungry again. I said, you don't have to do anything for me. He said, it's the least I can do. He said, the thought you were over in that apartment going hungry and freezing, and I didn't know. He said, it just makes me sick. He said, I will make sure you never go hungry again. I started crying and I said, you don't have to do any of that. He said, it's the least I can do. Okay? Well, when we got married, wasn't much longer when he redid the will. I was added to the farm. It was mine and his. Some idiot showed up. I didn't realize it was both their farm. No, I guess you didn't. We can't actually say anything because if we said anything, the farm would just go back to her. When did that happen? Well, I guess you weren't paying attention then, huh? Where did you think you had the right? Where they told Rick that they would help kill Carl or they'll get him locked up. They'll do this, they'll do that. They scare that man shitless. Told all these people how they're going to hunt him down and kill him and bash his skull and kill me. And they have him so terrorized, he still don't sleep at night. I'm going to get him some counseling for it. He still don't sleep at night. And after Rick beating that horse and poisoning that cat and trying to frame him, to realize how mentally ill Rick is, to even go along with any of this. The Tuscarora sheriffs think that he's on drugs. Well, these people are drug dealers. He probably is. And that idiot walking by, Kathy said it was ridiculous, his old attorney, that she would even get anything. And she was going to help me take everything back. Kathy would never do that. See, he lied again and again. Kathy even told Carl close to 2 years ago to write Rick off. Oh. Because he was rude, stealing stuff off the farm, yelling and screaming at Carl. And you know what Kathy told him? You don't reward bad behavior. You can leave it to whoever you want, Carl. It's your farm and only yours at that time. Told him to write him off. You don't reward bad behavior. And, you know, people, in this area, they think that they can take other people's situations and then try to say, oh, we can do it to you too. See, that's where I was sitting in this one place. I was talking to this one guy, and he said, well, I heard of 2 other people that they took stuff from, but he didn't know the situations. See, this one lady, uh, she was married to a very wealthy man. He died. Well, she already had fast dementia, okay? She couldn't drive a car anymore. Her sister became her guardian, okay? Her sister lived in Florida. They're all in their 70s, okay? She's got her own health problems. And with her husband, the lady with dementia, her husband died. She was passing out. She wouldn't eat. She ended up in the hospital, hurt really bad several times. She just sat there and wouldn't eat. I actually knew this person. And her sister warned her, you either start eating and you start taking care of yourself, or I'll put you in a nursing home. I cannot come up here. I live in Florida. I can't keep traveling back and forth, and I can't live here to make sure you eat. And I actually said something to someone that they needed to get different staff in there and make sure she eats. Just make her food, sit down and eat with her. Encourage her that way. Take a bite. Take a bite. You just don't ask somebody if they're hungry, because when they're grieving that bad, they'll tell you they're not hungry. You give them the food and you tell them to take a bite. You encourage it that way. Well, after she fell so many times, for her own safety, her sister put her in a nursing home so she wouldn't die. And that she'd have round-the-clock care. And people to encourage her to eat to stay alive. Because she kept falling and getting hurt really bad. So where that guy said, I knew it, this lady came up from Florida, put her sister in a nursing home. Well, she already was guardian. Because she had fast-growing dementia. And she wouldn't eat anymore. She kept falling and getting hurt. And it became a life and death situation. It had been going on for months, and it was progressively getting worse. And she did it to save her life, and she's way up in her 70s with her own health issues, and she couldn't take care of her. So people need to get the facts before you actually understand why somebody had to do something. Somebody falling all the time, ended up in the hospital because of a fall, and they get hurt. And I mean not like a little hurt. See what I mean? People don't know and they just run their mouths. That, and I guess, see, there's a difference of, if you have a trust, see, he was talking about some 100-year-old lady had a trust. A trust is like a bank account where you put stuff in for when you die. You can always change your trust. But this lady's like 100. Her kids are in her 80s. It's not like she's going to go buy a new car or a home at 100. And her kids went in and asked the courts if they could go ahead and have that trust because she's already 100. They went ahead and let them have their savings account for when she dies. She was already 100. It's not like she's going to go out and buy a car or a house. She's probably in a nursing home at that point. See, there's a whole thing. Carl's farm wasn't in a trust. It was only his. Then it was his and mine. See, that's where people don't know. They need to shut their fucking mouths. See, there's where there's 2 extreme cases. One, the person had dementia, wouldn't eat, dehydrated, falling and getting cut real bad, large bruising, you have to be seen in the hospital. It keeps happening and happening and happening, and they put them in there for their own safety. And the person that is their guardian is not well either, and way up in their 70s. that can't take care of them. See, you don't know the facts. Don't try to put a situation that isn't here. And these people are rejects. And all they do is lie. Kathy said, Rick don't get nothing when he's an asshole. So where that guy tried to say, Kathy said she was going to help me. Boy, am I going to take it. You ain't going to touch her. You don't even know who the hell you're talking about. You're dealing with her. You don't know who you're dealing with. And she wouldn't help you. Because like she said, if Rick's an asshole, he don't get nothing. She had already told Carl to write him off, a year and a half before? Because if he is going to be an idiot, steal off your farm and call up and scream at you, you don't reward bad behavior. Give it to who you want and who you choose. See, that's where people, just because you're someone's kid, you're not entitled to take anything from your parents. They could leave it to the Humane Society. They could leave it to the turtles. They could leave it to people that watch whales. See, that's where people don't realize something that isn't yours. Like Audrey, his daughter, said, I can't imagine the hurt and pain that's in my dad's heart. Of your own child actually threatening to kill you, try to frame you by beating a horse and poisoning a cat, trying to get you arrested to steal from you, threatening to have you killed, your wife killed, to steal everything from you, and telling people you're going to murder your father when you find him, and to terrorize him, and it's your own child threatening to kill to steal from you. I can't imagine the hurt and pain and the betrayal Dad feels. She said, I couldn't imagine my son doing this to me and Gary. She said, Karen, I think he needs counseling. I said, what? I'm going to be taking care of that. Talk to Carl. He's set up to go to counseling. Maybe they can help him. Besides me telling them, right now they're all in your head. They're these words, these threats. Don't let them. Yes, we know they're there. Yes, we know what they've done. Yes, we know they're dangerous. But don't let it consume you. Don't let it get in your head and live in there every day, all day long. It makes you crazy until you're too afraid to do anything. And that's what they want. I had somebody even laugh. They wanted to scare him crazy so they could get him locked up and say, look, there is something wrong with him. Freaking bunch of pieces of shit. Terrorizing an 80-year-old man. You ought to be ashamed. But people like this don't have shame. They sell women and children for sex slaves and to be murdered. See, that's where some idiot saying, Melissa's attorney has everything held up. They don't have anything held up. That's another lie. Because nobody ever got hurt. There's no police investigation. There's no emergency report. There's no treatment. Why? Because it was mean jokes to scare me out of my house. See, that's where people were following me and harassing me the other day. And when they found out they were 7.5-year-old mean jokes just to scare me into giving up my house, they were pissed. It was just them being idiots trying to help out. That's all it was. Them giggling and laughing. They were talking last year out in Alliance about them sitting around laughing. I told you, back on January 1926, they had released Thanksgiving of 18. And people were walking the mall. Those kids did get taped saying they made everything up. I know they did. They're documented mean jokes. See, I went to actual personal injury attorney. They told me you have to have so much to have a case. You have to prove you were injured. You have to have not only pictures of injury, but you have to go to the hospital. They have to verify the pictures match. Then the treatment for those injuries. And then you have to call the police. The police have to do an investigation. Where I had a dog bite, I had to have a dog warden. Can't just have a witness. I had to have physical evidence. It was that dog and that dog only. I had to have its DNA on my coat where it latched on my arm and wouldn't let through and bit through and left teeth marks in my arm where it ripped through my jacket before they would even open a case. So, on mean jokes, and of course it never happened, of course it wasn't true, we made it up, they were games of pretend. Think about it. They don't have an attorney. It's a lie. Just like there's an attorney telling Agent John how to break the law. Dear God, he's a federal agent. He lives the law. You don't think he would know how to break it? He wouldn't need you to tell him how to do it. You know, it's just like where I had 6 to 10 surgeries and my muscles locked up. And I had that major kidney surgery. They cut me 5 inches on my back. And then the 6 to 10 surgeries on the front of my stomach. Right on Google, that will cause numbness in your legs and loss of use of your legs. And some permanent. And it takes a long time to get the use back of your legs. So, do we have a problem where my muscles clenched? Do we have a problem where I was so much pain I went to a bunch of crackpots, caused all that massive swelling? Then took my community health to tell me that they were known for lying, falsely diagnosing people, ripping off, making them sick, and wanting to do unnecessary procedures to get an attorney and sue them. They almost killed me. They caused massive body swelling, thyroid, adrenal gland to shut down, heart attack, seizures. They almost killed me. And that was in medicine. It's documented fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. Encouraged Dave and I to sue them for years because they almost killed me. Bunch of witch doctors. It took me 9 months to get well. As the swelling went down, to learn to use my legs and to learn to walk again. Practicing at home, falling on my ass and base continually. Within 2 months of being off the medication, the thyroid, adrenal gland working again. What else? Heart attacks and seizures stopped because those were all chemically induced. And the massive body swelling slowly leaving as I was learning to walk again. My muscles, they had to put me on fentanyl patches. Fentanyl is 100 times stronger than morphine. The muscles were so clenched, they would raise up through the skin and blood vessels would break and blood would run down my stomach and legs. I got red freckles. Talk about excruciating. You can't even breathe when that happens. I lived through hell, and I fought and fought to stay alive then fought to learn to walk again. And that pathetic excuse of a family telling people ridiculous stories and then admitting to a federal agent they made everything up for people to help out. On April 3rd, 2026, Shell gas station where I played that video of all the laws and how big retards are these people falling for this ridiculous drug scam. And how, where they even admitted in Walmart on West Husk on March 20th, 26, that an FBI agent, they had confessed that they made all that up to get away with this. And that they lied. People pulled in. There was a white truck next to us getting gas. Another SUV pulls in and said, "Mom." Kara said, "She'll give us all money if we don't tell." They all found out. That family told the federal agent they made all that up. And that her dad will risk everything to help out in this. And they told everybody, and they told the federal agent they lied on everything. Said not to say a word. Don't take it. Take her money. Go ahead and take her fucking money and then report her. Because I'll tell you what. Why wouldn't you? It's money that was from drug cartel. They got the money from the drug cartel. Where'd they get it from? They sold a little kid that died. The money soaked in blood. Some little kid they sold for a sex slave and murdered and butchered into pieces, or some woman they grabbed. It's blood money, like they've been calling it. It's blood money. Those apostolics have been fucking passing out blood money. Helping the cartel get away with murder here. Last night on the 4th, April 4th, 2026, there's a car behind me in McDonald's. I stopped to get a Sprite. And pulled in and said, well, found out that was Kara. That was passing out the money and said the last name. It is Keith's daughter. And said those two Kingsmen that were following her. They were talking about them. You know, before the case, Terry's phone call, I didn't hang up. Where she said she was watching some lady's kid. For $10 an hour, some lady had impersonated me. Cost me a job. I thought Dave has to be cheating. I'll listen. She's like, here, and she's here. Like, oh, she left the phone on speaker. Never knew. I thought, see if he's cheating. If it's this person, maybe I'll catch him. $5,000-$6,000 disappearing from a safe. Did he pay for pregnancy? I'll catch him. It's probably his girlfriend. That's probably where that other lady impersonated cost me a job. I'll catch him. I wasn't ready. Or guess who I was on the phone with? You're kidding. I almost tricked her into coming down to prayer. Where those two guys that show up and take care of her. It's not like anybody in the church would ever help her. You know, they pay people to know where she's at, and I could use some money. She was going to sell me. We were supposed to be friends. Well, that's about as bad as Kaylee. She used another minister to marry her because Keith charged too much money. Well, you know who was in the meeting to hire those men to kill her? It was Keith, Bishop, Strange, and Ron. Because Ron wants her dead. Because she got well the year his kid died. They said how much they took up. I guess. Holding my mouth not to scream. Tears running down my face. Ultimate betrayal. I had to talk to her several times after the case started. I needed her permission to tape her. Seeing me almost kidnapped. Just looking at her. Not a bit of God. Same possessed. Or how could you set somebody up to be murdered? Looking at these people. Do you know what it's like to walk into a church, raise your hands and praise God, and look around and realize these people are trying to have you murdered and having you harmed? And they have long hair and long skirts, and they're nothing but pure, sane, possessed people. I know what it's like they said, investigators told people 19, Karen's a victim of an occult that drugged her and tried to kill her before. The word victim. I was found innocent of everything in 18. John defended me on Thanksgiving of 18 when I asked him what was going on. He didn't know. He had told Melissa's ex-wife I was going to be moving out. We're going through a divorce. She'd have the kids and the church people make up something, but don't worry about it, Mom. Nobody can say anything bad about you. Says it several times. Just be made up because of the divorce. And a year or two later, when Melissa pulled a stunt trying to get total custody of the kids, he had, a year later, he tried to get custody back. He asked me to be a reliable name on a court record to pick up his kids. And I said, John, I'm working 2 jobs. I barely make it now. He said, Mom, if you don't help me, I'll lose my kids forever. These are my kids. I said, John, I'll lose my apartment. I barely make it now. He said, Mom, if you don't help me, I'll lose my kids forever. I said, John, I'll lose my apartment. I am so sorry. I don't get off the first job, let alone the second. I can't afford to make it now. Ended up losing his kids, moved to Florida years ago. Got remarried, started a church with him and his wife. Last year, June 13th, 14th, found out these people had somebody impersonate my son John, run around with him, asking people to help harm me. My son John would never have anybody harm me. He was not part of his father and his drug addict girlfriend, their drug dealer father, running a drug scam on me and having his mother drug beat and raped for Dave's drug addict girlfriend. And then thinking that they can run a con on the FBI to extort money. He was not part of it. When people found out that he lived in Florida, well, who's that riding with him? They had somebody impersonate him? These people are a handful trying to pull their con off. My son wasn't part of it. They had somebody impersonate Danny and John trying to prove the tape of Weird With Yourself. Nobody knew about it because it's photoshopped to washing in the shower. They had somebody impersonate my mother. And when they found out my mother lived in Illinois since 2003, they had people impersonate everybody. It's the biggest con in the world. Like they've said, these people pulled off the biggest con in the world here. It's a drug scam from the drug dealers that are human trafficking people. These people, I'll tell you what, investigators even went to my kids' pediatrician from 1984 to 2002, Dr. Haben. He still open. Verified that he had seen the kids several times a year for 18 years. There was never any sign of any neglect, no abuse, and they were very well taken care of. That is medical proof. Nobody was ever harmed. See, like the investigator said, these church people need to realize how dumb they look. And actually how dumb they look. They said they had somebody drug her and tell her to say it before. Oh, they'll have somebody verify. They were part of having somebody drugged. Then there's no crime committed besides them drugging somebody. So you have to have proof, physical proof, that somebody got harmed. There's not. And yes, they can tell that somebody's being abused. Because when people are being abused, they look down. They look away. They can't make eye contact. And because Dr. Haben was their pediatrician from the time they were born, went in and seen them several months a year, times a year. Kids get colds, they get flu, ear infections, whatever. Then their yearly checkup. It was catching up with an old friend. Of, hey, hi, this, that. And my kids are chatterboxes. They look you right in the eye and talk your ear off. They still do. Never shut up. There were happy, normal, loud, in-your-face children. Children being abused, looked down, sad, and you see the hurt and pain on them. They were normal, happy, loud, in-your-face children. Happy, talk your ear off, sit and laugh. These people, they thought if they made up a scenario that, oh, she's a dirty person, you should all help kill her. And I'm not. It's a made-up lie. They might as well have made up a lie. She robbed the Bank of Arizona and shot the 2 security guards and took off with the money. Oh, I'll witness it. And no bank got robbed and no security guards got shot. There was no crime committed. They made it up. Where they told these people, what was it, March 20th, 24, in Walmart 62, they even made up a retired Judge Pete. There was none. They made up everything on her to get away with this. Huh? Or November 18th, 22, that guy Eric laughing that all the tapes before were him and not me, and it was done for a stunt for people to turn on me and they fell for it. Or June 7th, 23, Lighthouse making fun of FBI agent John, how they made a fool out of him. Or August 5th, 25, as if he didn't know, Agent John didn't know they used hypnotic drugs when they drugged her and told her to say it before. He was telling people he knew she was being drugged, being raped before the case started. He even let him torture her. Is he some kind of coward? Huh? Or the shower scene in the other room, and it's just a big con. And then that doctor from before was not one of hers, works for them, and they had lied. March 27th, 25, April 17th, 25, May 26th, 25, December 1st, 25. And then in March of 26, I found out that it's supposed to be Henry Moffey, the guy that admitted he never met me in person, Dave's girlfriend's dad. Lying to people. It's the biggest con in the world of every law that can't be broken. And it takes a retard to fall for it. I'm going to go ahead and upload this.